Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to Gamerjoob, and welcome back to our Poppy Playtime character concept series. So in today's video, the character looking into is Catnap, and for our Catnap video, this will be part 1 of 2. So we're going to go through Catnap's backstory, gameplay mechanics, location, and all that good stuff as well. But before we get into any of that, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe to Gamerjoob, as it helps a lot and it's greatly appreciated. It also keeps you up to date with the videos that we post. Also, I will just state that this is just a made-up story and a what-if scenario, and it's not really what's going to happen in Chapter 3, so keep that in mind and enjoy the video. Alrighty, well with that all out of the way, let's get into the part 1 of our Catnap character concept. So, previously in our Poppy Playtime character concept series, we've looked into all the characters from the Smiling Critters line of toys. Although each of these characters was once a monstrous version of themselves, with the help of the player and Dog Day, they were able to change each of the critters back to their friendly selves. All the critters helped the main protagonist escape the Playcare Centre for good. Finally, they could put all this behind them. The critters were back to normal and everyone was happy.
It turns out that in the end, everything worked out and now the player can safely get out of here.
Catnap. Catnap is a calming presence for the critters and ensures he and his friends always have the right amount of sleep to jumpstart the morning's play. End of the day, there's nothing Catnap enjoys more than watching his friends sleep soundly. Scent lavender. So, as we all know, Catnap is the critter that is responsible for sleep. He makes his friends get a restful night's sleep while he keeps watch over all of them. But what happened to this cute sleep-inducing toy cat? What made him take over and plunge the whole factory into a deep, endless nightmare? Well, only recently another VHS tape was released. This time going into what actually happened to the Catnap toy. Also in this VHS tape, we learned a little more on how these smiling critter toys work. Originally I thought these toys and their fabric were scented, but it turns out that they actually dispense the scent when you pull on their tail, almost like an aerosol spray. This might also explain why each character has a zipper. It might be a way to access and replace the aerosol spray cans. So it seems Catnap was actually recalled and discontinued from the Smiling Critters toy line. Reports were saying that children who owned the Catnap toy were having vivid nightmares. Catnap was the only character with this problem. It seems that there was a fault with the chemicals in the lavender scent. So Playtime Co. decided to recall all the defective toys and take Catnap out of the toy line. But how could they do this? Catnap was one of the main characters. They couldn't just toss him away and forget about him. But that's exactly what they did, and Catnap was removed from all the promotional material and even the newer episodes of the cartoon show. So whilst all the characters received all the fame and popularity, Catnap was left to be forgotten about. For years he was destined to sit on a shelf and collect dust, but not if there was anything he could do about it. He'd make sure everyone remembers him, and that they won't ever forget. So now we return back to the player. After all the smiling friends opened up the exit for them, they've been making their way down this corridor for some time now. Come to think of it, how long have they been walking down this corridor? It seems like it's been going forever. They just keep walking and it appears to have no end. All of a sudden the endless corridor morphs into a dark, creepy hallway. What on earth is happening? This couldn't be real. One second they were out of this place, and the next they were somewhere completely different. The player realises there can only be one explanation. This was Catnap's doing. Somewhere along the way, they must have been affected by the sleeping gas. They need to find a way out of this nightmare and wake up, but they have to be careful because something tells them that even though this is a dream, the consequences could be very real. As they wander through the halls, they can see multiple empty bedrooms. This must be where the orphans slept, or at least a nightmarish version of it. As the player walks forward, all of a sudden a pair of razor-sharp claws rips right through the wall. Then another, and another. Multiple creepy arms have torn straight through the walls. This must be Catnap toying with the player. In this nightmarish-like state, he can do whatever he pleases. Suddenly, the hallway splits in two and gets completely torn away. All that's left is an eerie night sky. As the player stares out into the night, that's when they see it. A giant version of Catnap rises up and stares at them. His glaring eyes just stare back at the player. Suddenly, a large cloud of the red sleeping gas pours out of his mouth and starts filling the corridor. The player is forced to back away and escape into one of the other rooms. If they breathe in any more of this gas, then who knows how much deeper they'll sink into this dream. They find a room and slam the door behind them. Now they find themselves in a dark, empty room. It's cloaked in shadows and the player can barely see anything. Then, out of the shadows, glowed two piercing eyes. These eyes moved towards the player and revealed what's behind them. Was this the real Catnap? His body was slender and creepy. All of his fur was matted and messy. At the ends of those long arms were deadly razor-sharp claws. And on that face of his was that eerie smile. He grabs the player and holds them up to his face. Those dark, hollow eyes stare right through them. Then Catnap throws the player straight through the floor. They smash right through it and find themselves falling down a dark pit. They fall all the way down and land in a deep, dark place. Now where were they? It seems like this nightmare won't end. Suddenly, Catnap returns for the player. This time they phase right through the floor. It was clear that this was his domain, and he was in control. The player is frozen in place and can't move a muscle. Catnap has completely stunned their body, and now he has them right where he wants them. He moves in closer to deliver the final blow, but just before he does, Catnap senses something is wrong. His body starts to twist and contort. His eyes then light up, and so does his mouth. And in a flash of white light, the player is awoken from the nightmare. It was Dog Day. He woke up the player and saved them. It seems just after the player made it out of the exit, they fell victim to the sleeping gas. Dog Day explains they know where the real Catnap is, and they both need to find him and put an end to this for good. Dog Day decided to leave all the other critters behind. He couldn't risk them getting corrupted again. And luckily for him, with his daylight ability, there's no chance he'll get corrupted. But maybe there's a chance that Dog Day can turn Catnap back to normal. And there's only one way to find out. And exactly what that way will be, we'll have to wait until the next video. Alrighty everyone, well that's what we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribing, and helps a lot, and it's greatly appreciated. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of our version of Catnap, and what you think is going to happen next. Alrighty everyone, well, until part 2, I'll catch you later, bye.